Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Tesla Life. Guess what? As you saw from the place card, it's episode 99, or Wayne Gretzky night here at the at the show. So it's what are we sitting here? It's May 15th, 2019, and we are at show number 99. Almost at syndication. That's 100. Almost there. Almost there.
Yay.
We're going to be real disappointed if we don't get syndication.
Is there a bonus that we get when we
I'm sure there is. There has to be. If you go to syndication, there's royalties and stuff that you get, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, I demand a recount on mine.
Well, without further ado, let's introduce our co-host tonight, Mr. Russell Frost, wearing a distinct, interesting-looking polo shirt. He was, anyways.
Yeah. What are you talking about, Mark? Okay. Number one, get me off presenting, please. Please. Yeah, I found this old thing laying around, and I thought, finally I have something appropriate for the show.
Look at that.
And I'm usually so inappropriate. So, yeah. And I was telling Mark, is it me or just do polo shirts always look just beat up? Like, this just feels like, I just hate polo shirts. Nothing personal, Casey.
Nothing personal, Mr. Polo.
Just on me, not on you.
I do wear a lot of polos.
Yeah, that's okay. Most people do. It's just like, if you're going to, it's like, it's a t-shirt with a collar.
Yeah, so I can wear it to work.
Yeah, so I just wear a t-shirt,
Yeah.
Anyway, hey, everybody out there in Tesla Life Land. Number 99.
99. Yes, indeed. Next, Mr. Casey Green in South Carolina. How are you today, sir?
I'm doing pretty well. I was wearing my Falcon Heavy polo yesterday. So
couldn't wait for one more day.
Well, we had an open house, so I had a choice between blue or Falcon Heavy. So I figured I'd be memorable, and people would say, "What the heck is FH or FTI?" Because the H isn't connected on the Falcon Heavy logo. And everybody said, "What is that?" I said, "Oh, I watched them shoot a car into space."
It means FU. That's
no, it doesn't.
Okay. Oh, okay.
So it may mean something else, Russell.
Yeah.
Just maybe.
Yep.
Just maybe. Yeah. So we've got a bunch of news this week, as always. There's always something going on. There's always something going on in the Tesla life. It never ends. It's constantly evolving around us. And our first story of the night. There was a group of Model S owners, older, not completely older cars, but older cars, talking about a reported launch slowdown going on for, max launch mode. Casey, I just wanted to maybe touch base with you. Is there something that you know about this particular story?
I do. So this looks like it was affecting P85D and P90D. Thankfully, it did not affect the P100D. Otherwise, I could have.
So it was not only S's, it was X's?
I don't know if it was only S's or not. But
story said S, but I wasn't sure.
It probably was X as well, but it being a more family-oriented vehicle, there's probably just less complaints coming from it. And so basically, it seems that the software cap accidentally got added to those older vehicles, and so they weren't launching as hard as they could. And when you paid the Honda Civic extra for the speed, it's super annoying to be slower than non-ludicrous mode. So
right.
I'd be upset too.
So this could be what would be attributed to a software clobbering, right?
Mine
they uploaded something and it overwrote something.
Right. So on mine, it has forgotten how to open the charge port door with the hatch closed on superchargers, the home charger, and maybe sometimes the mobile unit. And it also thinks that it's a sleepy teenager. So the first run in the morning and most of the time when I come back from after work, it's gone to deep sleep. And you wake it up, it says, After this message clears, press the brake to resume. And then it goes back to sleep before the message clears. Yeah, so I'm sitting there waking it up multiple times in a row before I
over and over again, trying to get it to stay awake.
Yes.
Yeah. So this happened recently. A number of S's reported this issue. Tesla is looking at it. They don't have a solution at this point, but they're trying to figure out what piece of software clobbered what piece of software, and see if they can get another update sent out to correct this issue.
They're going to find out that Dave put a bug check on something, or or Jimbo deleted or commented out a line of code.
Right. It's the old REM statement that they forgot they had in there.
Exactly.
You software guys are done. Can I?
Go ahead.
I have no freaking clue what you're talking about. Okay. No, I got nothing on that other than, this is what we talked about. Like OTA is great until it isn't.
But see, the best part is that we don't have to go back to a dealership to get it fixed.
The best part is it broke in your driveway.
Right. Yeah.
That's where it needs to be broken. Yeah.
I get that it's cool. You don't have to go to a dealer. I'm just saying they broke it in your driveway.
Right. So
okay, that's sucks.
There have been some updates to other brands, Honda, GM, where you take it in and then they realize later that, we broke it. And so now you got to bring it back again for the update to the update.
Absolutely.
If you were lucky enough to get the update in the first place.
As the saying goes, it's a poor sword that only cuts in one direction. And OTA, there's both, again, good and bad.
Yeah. But I got to say that it's so far to this point, it's been a much better on the positive side than the negative side.
Yes, I will say though that had they put me in the early access program like they promised, I would have found the bug, told them about it, and then they wouldn't have spread it to regular Joe Schmoes. I mean, come on,
Elon not responded to you yet?
He ignores me. I talked to his mom. I think I might even spoke to his brother once, but I have not spoke to Elon.
Don't you have a job?
Yes.
Well, won't your job be upset if you take another job?
Right? It's free.
It's not a job if you're not getting paid.
It's a hobby.
Yeah, it's not a job.
On my car. Yeah.
Exactly. And Casey's, as we learned from last week's show, is so undercover. No one's going to figure it out.
Yeah.
Next story. Off to the wonderful metropolis of Toledo, Ohio.
Where?
Toledo, Ohio.
You mean Maumee, Ohio?
Well, okay. But for people that don't know where it is, where Maumee, Ohio is, Toledo is a good descriptor.
Gotcha.
We've got a new service center opening up in Maumee, Ohio.
It's Toledo.
Maumee. But as we talked about just before the start of the show, is what's the big deal about a new service center in Toledo area? And the interesting part of this is that part of the reason that this new service center has opened is to handle another state's Tesla owners. So just above Toledo, of course, is the state of Michigan, and the metropolis of Detroit is less than an hour away. And we've got a state that does not authorize Tesla to have any service centers in that state, nor galleries or selling stores. So anyone in the Detroit area that wants a car, they've got to go to a neighboring state, and they have to go there for service as well.
Middlemen are so convenient, and they make everything better.
Right. So
I roll my eyes for the folks on the radio.
The dealerships have really screwed this one up, but they're protecting themselves is what's going on, or they feel they are. And you've got a number of different people that now have to travel the distance to get out of the state in order to have purchase the car and have the car serviced. Luckily, there's a lot less servicing going on than a regular ICE vehicle, but still, that's got to be a bit of a pain having to drive an hour. But what am I saying? I'm an hour away from a service center too. So
lots
4
of people
hours each way right here, baby.
Yeah.
This is not unusual for Tesla. A company still building out its service network. Elon himself has admitted that that's something they should have paid more attention to, and that his intention was to build this network out more. So, yay, new thing. And yeah, that's the map. You can see the difference between Detroit and Toledo. They're very close.
Yeah.
And if you could put your car in a boat, you could just boat it up to Detroit, which is ridiculous, but nonetheless.
So 01010 says that they should have early and late OTA depending on your bug tolerance. And according to Elon, it is coming. So they will have a option for you to not be waiting on the rollout. So as soon as your configuration is authorized, you'll be in the first batch. So in my case, it would be a late 2018 P100D Model X with whatever options I've selected. And so as soon as one is available, it would push out rather than waiting for my VIN to come up like the lottery. It's not
right. That's a change that's coming.
Yeah, it's not quite the same, but it is a step towards that earlier program that we were speaking of, because my tolerance is pretty high. And I'd much rather it be me than somebody who's not computer savvy, or somebody like with my car taking 10 seconds to boot up. I can say, hey, it takes 10 seconds to get boot up. So if you need to jump in the car and run away, maybe skip
your car takes 10 seconds to boot up?
Only when it's mad at me, like a teenager.
When it's sleeping.
Off on. So it's up to a minute, but usually about 10 seconds.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's part of the new Century mode.
It's probably Century mode doing it,
but they know the owner will wait around for 60 seconds, but a thief will not.
Right, exactly.
They'll just leave the car and say, forget that.
So let's build this delay. Oh my God.
And speaking of Century mode, since we just got on the topic, this is not a show story that we have this week, but did you guys check out the keying of that car that Century mode picked up recently? The two guys in the Ram pickup truck? That was disgusting.
Did they also Ram, or were they pretending to get something out of it?
They were, no, they got in it because when the gentleman left, he whipped his door open to dent the Model 3 when he left. I
didn't see that part.
So they keyed the car twice, and then when he got in the driver's seat, he fling the door open just so it would purposely leave a dent in it.
Did you see the one with the homeless man?
Yes. But that Century mode stuff, man, it's incredible the amount of footage that's coming out everywhere. Whether it's on the road or in parking lots or people snapping selfies with dogs on the hoods of the car. It's just crazy what's going on.
Speaking of on the road, before the show, I was talking about how I ran over an axe on the road, and I'll try to get the footage up online so everybody can see it.
Oh my God!
I've got front cam where you see I'm following the van trying to get onto the highway because it's one of the where you've got like 2 or 3 interchanges in one spot, and so this van and I are moving to get off of the interchange, and I see on the window what looks like a windshield wiper. I'm like, it's a dry, bright day. Why are the wipers on? You don't see any mist or anything. Wasn't a wiper. And then somehow I ended up running over the axe handle and flung it across the road. And there's an F-250. It clipped his bumper, and I'm just so lucky I didn't hit the axe handle. It ended up scratching my rocker panel, part of the rubber there, and it removed some of the paint protective film on the front bumper.
Well, you're damn lucky you didn't lose your head.
Yes, I agree. Or
crazy,
tire, brakes.
Crazy what's on the road.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy. Yeah, well, we'll be posting that video as soon as you get it posted.
Yeah.
Casey. Absolutely. Next, how about some browser tricks? With the new Chromium browser that's been installed in the Tesla over-the-air update, a gentleman, not going to say who, we're not going to show the video, but he actually was able to remote into his computer through the new Chromium browser. And the video that I'm speaking about, which you can find it on YouTube, just look up Chromium browser Tesla, and he was able to actually he was playing YouTube videos and movies off of his Windows 10 box. The Chromium browser is giving you a lot more options that didn't exist previously. One of the ones that I noticed myself was that you can now access iCloud.com, which previously the other browser was not able to handle. So yeah, it's certainly given you a lot more options than what was out there previously. There's another gentleman who has put together something called Test Play, and this is allowing people that have a Spotify account to be able to stream it from their phones to the large screen through the new browser. So you're still pulling it from your phone, but at least it gives you the ability to change songs and I believe look at album art and stuff through the big display, as opposed to having to do something on the phone while it's plugged in or charging. You can do some of the functions, and he's adding functions as time goes along. So that's another thing that the Chromium browser is bringing to the table that didn't exist previously.
So that's using the Spotify remote features?
Correct.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah. So he's expanding on, I believe it's called Test Play, and you could look that up if you like. Next. This was interesting. An article that was posted on Electric about the Tesla software leak. So this article pointed out that there are so many advancements on the Tesla software side of things that the other auto manufacturers are nowhere near in catching up at this point. That they're indicating that these other automakers better be worried because they're not catching up in any way to the lead that Tesla currently has, which they indicate at this point is somewhere, they're guesstimating, about 4 years ahead of everyone else. So it's interesting.
Allegedly.
Well, okay, yep. Thank you, Mr. Lawyer. Yes.
Sorry.
Yeah, you got to keep us on the straight and narrow, Russell. That's for sure.
And go ahead, please.
So it's an interesting story about how the innovation that Tesla has placed in its software, obviously more than other manufacturers. They're certainly with the over-the-air updates, and of course everything in the car being controlled by software, right down to, for example, lights and speakers and heated seats. Everything can be modified software-wise, turned on and off, modified, as we saw about the brake story when the Model 3 first came out. All these things allow Tesla to be head and shoulders above the other auto manufacturers because they've got this extra ability to modify, change, delete, add to that other auto manufacturers just do not have and never have had. So there's a lot of truth to the story just from what I've seen owning a Tesla for the last 11 months. So there's definitely a big advantage to this. As we mentioned earlier in the show, there can be a bit of a problem with it as well. If someone produces a software update, as they've done to Casey's car and to the Model S group, you can get in a situation where software clobbers software and you run into an issue that has to be corrected.
Oopsie.
Yep, exactly.
Well, on road trips, I get that 10 seconds back. I mean, the charge is faster now, so.
There you go. There you go. And honestly, though, this is kind of I don't know. I'm not even
it's a bit of a fluffy story.
It's a bit of a fluffy story, and
so.
Friedman is a complete fluffer. He's a research scientist at MIT.
Yeah,
man, people have just totally destroyed him, and he's such a weenie online.
Although he was recently on the Joe Rogan show.
Yeah,
and it was an interesting interview, like 3 hours long. But man, there was a lot of great information that was spoken about in that interview.
There's not enough dope in the world to get me through 3 hours of Joe Rogan. Okay.
That's what the fast forward button is for, and the play speed.
I get it. You know what I mean? And it's definitely an Elon friendly show. Bless him.
Yeah, and of course, Elon was on his show a couple weeks ago.
And there was enough dope to get Elon through the show.
They all got through it fine.
Well,
Absolutely.
I actually like the Rich Rebuild show better than the Elon show. There was I skipped a lot less.
Oh, I didn't know Rich Rebuilds was on there. That's cool.
Yeah.
He's great.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was a great show as well. Yeah. Next, Mr.
Uh-oh.
Frost has some photos for us.
Oh, I do. Yes, I do.
Yes,
Having
you
lived in
do.
Florida, I am intimately familiar with these guys. How's that?
Oh my
How's that?
gosh.
Yeah. That make you
That-
feel good about life?
I don't miss
That
Florida.
is
I do not miss Florida.
horrible. That is absolutely horrible.
Oh.
Ah.
Now, for those of you who haven't lived in the SEC, let me clue you in. These are what are actually technically called and affectionately referred to as love bugs. It's a genetically modified bug that Florida introduced into its ecosystem to eat mosquitoes. Guess who still has a lot of mosquitoes? And guess who has an amazing infestation of love bugs? Now, you think, okay, it's a bug, whatever. Love bugs have this one curious little thing about their body chemistry. Their guts that you see displayed all over this car have some chemical in them that allows them to bond with car paint really well. So you have to wash these bad boys off quickly.
It's like
Immediately.
acetone. Yeah.
And the other
Yeah.
thing is they're radioactive. No, that was something I read elsewhere. Sorry.
Yeah. They should be, right?
Well, when you said genetically modified, that's the first thing I thought of.
Yeah. So it's love bug season. They all come out and mate and do their love buggy thing.
Which is
in the
mate
spring.
all day long.
Yeah, which is mate, connect to each other and get hit in front of your car. But
Yep.
yeah, the cars on there are just covered with stuff right now. It's awful.
Oh. And we had on our Twitter feed at the Tesla Life, if you're not already following us, we had put out a hashtag of bug off and invited our followers to send us photos. And those were some of the photos that were sent to us. And we certainly appreciate our followers sending us in some photos of some real live Florida action.
Oh man.
And here's a tip. Here's a Tesla tip for you guys. If you happen to be in Florida or some other bug infested part of the country, you can take saran wrap and put it across the front of your bumper. And we've seen on a number of occasions people that do that. And then, of course, after their trip, they're able to quickly discard it, take it off the car, and save themselves the scrubbing for a long trip. So saran sticks pretty good to the front of the car, and it does protect you from those bugs and a quick cleanup.
No, Hockey Day. This is not Herbie the Love Bug. Herbie the Love Bug was basically a good thing. Love bugs are basically evil.
Yeah.
Herbie was genetically modified too.
Yes, he was. To be your friend.
Oh man. Yeah, so that's fun with bugs today. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Russell, I was wondering if you could bring up the next picture, which would be
this
close
picture
to the
here?
bug pictures of the red submarine
Oh.
in the Twitter feed.
I'm sorry, I already left that.
That's all
Control
right.
Shift T.
That's all
bring it
right.
back.
Shit.
Or Command
That's all
Shift T
right.
if you're on a Mac.
No, that's okay. Yeah, I back. Okay, so what was I looking for? Oh yeah, the submarine.
Yeah.
I just can. We're gonna have to talk about this because no. Well,
there's a lot of warnings in this story for sure. But this story was taken in somewhere in Texas during the recent flooding that's been going on in a number of parts of the U.S. and Canada, for that matter. But there was a Tesla spotted on a street, Model S red, that was going down, heading into basically a marsh. Like the street was completely covered in water, and this Tesla went down and parted the actual waves, pushed it away, was able to drive through it without an incident. It didn't have to stop. It didn't float away. It was able to go through. And it looked like at one point that the water was about maybe a quarter of the way up the door panel on the side.
It was farther than that. No?
Well, I think there was a wave in front of it.
Oh, wait,
just
quick fix.
Yeah.
I've got.
Oh, I can't find it. I'm looking up and down, and I can't find
that's
it.
all right. That's all right. I just.
Let's see.
I do that sometimes with both of my volts.
But I can't share it either. I'm on.
I'm not presenting anymore.
No. Yeah, that's.
I literally just. Oh, here it is. Well, okay. So here it is in a just a quick Google search.
Yeah, that's
right.
The one. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So yes, okay, you're right. But that picture in the far left, man.
Well, yeah. that looks like a wave out front.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe half. But what's interesting here is that obviously these cars aren't built to be submarines.
No.
Except for maybe the James Bond one that Elon purchased on eBay. But this particular one, we've seen problems with cars being flooded, and of course Rich Rebuilds, who we just spoke about a moment ago, that's where he gets a lot of his cars from, is ones flooded that have been stuck in floods.
Okay, there it is driving. Yeah. See, now that's minimal there, but still. Is that battery pack under the water level or above the water level?
Definitely under the water level.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's questionable as to how much water is too much, or maybe more to the question of how much time is required for water to seep into a battery pack.
Well, how much speed would it take to force water into those smoke vents?
Right.
They do have vents built right in. So.
Yeah, for the air needs to get in there, right?
Well, no, for the smoke to get out if there's ever a fire.
If I'm driving a $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 car,
more than that,
and I'm
probably.
basically more than that, and I'm sitting on a bed of lithium-ion batteries, I am not driving in water. I'm sorry,
especially not salt water. Yeah. Brackish.
Not standing water that's going to go up to the doors.
It's just a bad. Well, sure, driving the rain, that's not a problem. I get that.
Yeah.
Unless your bumper falls off.
Right. The head is set to very high, so that helped a little bit, but very high on the Model S. Sorry, not very high. High on the Model S. That doesn't give you enough clearance for what they were doing.
It just scares me.
Yeah.
You're taking not only your life in your own hands, because if the water happens to be a little deeper than what you expect it to be,
it can take you away.
The current can push you away. Tires won't touch, and you will float away wherever the current's going. So if a road is flooded out, take the extra 10 minutes to turn around and go elsewhere. Just don't go through it like this guy did. It's a silly thing to do. It can end up in a lot of trouble. So
I watched that in mind. Where Prius last week tried the same trick, and it floated away, and they had to rescue her.
That's bad. Yeah, there's just don't do it.
Yeah, like they say, turn around, don't drown.
Makes sense.
The pressure on the door is enough to keep it closed. So you'll have to hopefully be able to use the windows and climb out.
Yeah, it's it just does not make any sense to go out with that. It just is not something that you should even consider.
Yes, absolutely true.
Next,
okay.
A little bit of a story about. Oh yes, we got an interesting photo that was sent in through our Twitter feed.
Oh no!
Where we've got. Don't worry, I think I've got it here.
Because I'm looking for it right now.
I've got it. There we are.
How about the ducks? The ducks are cute.
The ducks are cute. Yeah, okay. We might get there. But this red steering wheel was showing up on a person that was using autopilot that were coming up to, get this, a red light at speed. So this is part of autopilot's advancement to stop at lights or stop signs in the future. But at this point, it's just alerting drivers that they're approaching a red light at speed. And it's asking them, hey, stop. You can just grab the wheel and for autopilot to stop driving, he doesn't want you to run the red is basically what's going on. So this gentleman posted this information showing him approaching a light at this point at 45 miles per hour. And we had some people commenting back and forth saying, well, it doesn't stop me or tell me about this and when I'm doing 20 miles an hour. So there might have something to do with speed as well, because some people saying at lower speeds they're not getting the same alert as this gentleman got.
It's not a mature feature. It sometimes thinks that green lights are red, and sometimes thinks that red lights aren't there at all.
That's not good, Casey. Not good at all.
It's beta. So if you don't try this at home. Basically, what the way to activate this is to be on autopilot and be running a red light. So if you see the light's red, just go ahead and stop. But this lets you know, hey, slam on the brakes if it works.
Yeah. So it's don't go out and try to get this to appear on your screen while you're driving an autopilot. As Casey mentioned, just follow the rules of the road. But this is something that they're using to train the car, I guess, get a little bit closer to full autonomy. But it is something that is currently going on out there with people that are running the beta.
The shadow mode is actually doing this function right now. I put the shadow mode in air quotes for those on the audio only. I did a 5,000 mile trip, mixture of highway and local driving, and I got the alert one time. So
it's got some learning to do.
Yeah. Basically, it's probably doing a campaign now where if it thinks it's a red light, it sends it to Tesla, and they yay or nay, and then they feed it to train the computer. So don't rely on this, but it is nice that if somehow you happen to zone out, that it might catch something.
Yeah, don't zone out.
Don't zone out, yeah, but if you do, this might help.
It might
occasionally.
Yeah, it might occasionally. Who knows? So don't zone out. Absolutely. Next, talk a little bit about some Tesla energy, and I'm sure Russell, you've got some opinions on this.
I'm going to shut up as well.
We get this article that came in from CNN, and what they were doing is they were talking about Tesla Energy dropping the price of panels, normal solar panels, not the tiles that have yet become to market in mass. They were talking about regular, photovoltaic panels, just the regular ones that you would normally see on a house. And they were talking about how this, how Tesla is cutting the price of them as low as they can go, apparently in a bid to gain some of the business that they've already lost.
Gave away.
To bring people back based on those, the dollar amounts of a system, trying to get more people to buy in with them. Now, what I don't understand from this article is, are these panels actually being produced by Tesla in, say, Buffalo?
Yes. Okay.
They're actually being produced. They're not shipped in and then assembled or something in Buffalo.
Correct.
These are the I'm sorry, go ahead, Casey.
The Cylindra, yeah. In fact, there was allegation this morning that that Tesla isn't even buying all of their output from Panasonic, and that these cells are actually ending up in other people's products in addition to all of your Tesla stuff.
Just repeat that. How does that work?
Somebody accused Tesla of not buying all of the cells that Panasonic is putting out in Gigafactory 2 to put in their stuff, and that Panasonic is selling them to competitors, as is their contractual right.
Right.
And then, of course, both Panasonic and Tesla said no comment.
Right.
But all of the stuff that you are buying in this program is from the Gigafactory.
There's an easier way to explain all this, Mark.
What's that, Russell?
It's commonly called around the world, but especially here in the U.S., it's called a going out of business sale.
I disagree.
Let's be realistic. They have no people working in these stores that remain selling residential energy. Well, now they've gone to an online only. You can order your solar system online. That's the only way you can do it.
Yes. So with that, They have done a new angle from what you've been seeing with solar installers now. Is it looks like basically you can order 1 to 4 packs, and it looks like the packs are basically a pallet of solar equipment, and the owner does a lot of the legwork for surveying the property versus versus a Tesla employee doing it now. So they'll look at your pictures and they'll say yes or no, and if it's too difficult, they'll just pass on you. If it's a standard easy install, they'll set it up. You give them $99 up front, and then you pay the rest before they show up. And we compared them across several installers in my area, and they're just over $1 a watt, which is incredibly low, and beats everybody around here. So we'll see how that works.
But is that because the owner has to do all the legwork?
No, because you still want to make sure that you have a real electrician and solar installer look at it all. But I guess they can see offhand from your pictures if it just won't work.
So all Tesla is doing is then if they feel that the application works for their product, is they will ship you a number of pieces of that product, and you are supposed to get an electrician.
Oh no, they will show up with the truck, and I'm guessing they'll drop ship it to the local office, and they'll be ready to go. But because it is kind of palletized, let's call it palletized. I don't know if it's actually on a pallet, but because it is modular like that,
right.
They are saving versus custom designing a system like they used to do, and like the competition still does. But it also means that you can only choose 1 to 4 packs, and if that's not enough, or if that's too much,
right, you're stuck with the extra, or you get a smaller system. Your choice.
Yep. And it looks like if you want to go ahead and order Power Pack with that, you get 1 per pack. So,
Power Wall.
Oh, sorry, 1 Powerball. If you order Power Pack, you're running a business.
Right. Assuming, though, that you'll actually get the Powerwall.
My local installer here, they got a load of Powerwall 2s, and they asked if I wanted to pay for them, and I could get my Powerwalls now. I said, no, I'm waiting on the free ones. So he said, you'll be waiting for a while.
No kidding, right?
Yeah.
Would you like to pay for 2 yourself, or wait for the free ones?
I might add one, just that way I can charge the car and run the AC when the sun's up.
Really? So you're thinking about putting 3 in place?
Yeah. Okay. That's what I need to go whole house.
That's not uncommon at all.
Yeah, but I can have either no car charging or no AC, and 2 will do whole house for me.
Right. Well, keep in mind. I'm sorry, Mark.
Go ahead, Russell. Go ahead.
No. I mean, Casey's got 100 kilowatt hour storage capacity.
Yeah.
Okay. Powerwall is 13.5 kilowatt hours each. So, it's not like he's going to go in there and, he could conceivably go in there and suck those things dry.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
He wouldn't, and it wouldn't normally happen that way. And they're, depending on when he plugs in and how. But it's Powerwall's good for what it is, not necessarily an accompaniment to car charging.
Oh yeah, the only reason I even mentioned the car is it means I don't have to either get that load moved to another panel or have to remember to go unplug it. And then if say it's going into week 2 of the outage, I can go ahead and let the car charge during the daytime with the excess that would normally go to the grid, and then I can escape.
Okay.
Although
curious,
the car would be charged up to full.
Would you install those on an interior wall, or
I put them in the garage because I don't trust the looters.
Well, I mean, keep in mind this thing's about $8,000 each.
Yes.
Right. And although most of them are pictured on exterior walls and they're really pretty, the actual install doesn't quite look like that.
Right.
And like Casey just pointed out, most people want to put them on a garage interior or something so that they're a little more secure. They're totally environmentally controlled, though. I mean, the nice thing about Powerwall is that it's got good thermal management, which competing products don't have.
Yeah.
And they can be installed on an exterior wall. But then you've got boxes and conduit and all sorts of other stuff. And
the pictures don't do it justice, right? When they show it on the exterior wall, there's not even a wire going up to these things.
They do the conduit on the other side of the wall.
Yeah, the pictures are absolutely misleading.
Absolutely. And then the other thing is the 2 walls that I have where it would be economical to install them, because with the free program, you still do your own install.
Powerwall?
Yeah. So the 2 places where I can install it externally without overwhelming it, because the way that the sun hits my building, my house, is it would overwhelm the thermal controls and they would throttle. So
Really?
imagine having the power out and the power walls are throttling. Yeah, I don't need that. Just
You sure?
like my front door has actually replaced. It warped because it takes so much heat. And
Wow.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
It actually worked.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm in California. We get some heat here,
yeah.
Yeah.
but it's a dry heat, right?
It's a dry heat. Something about the angle and there's a storm door on it too, so that helps concentrate the heat. But like I get my best sun in the morning, and then because I'm facing east-west, so in the morning it's full on, and then in the evening on the back of the house it's also very
Wow.
direct.
It's so. I'm sorry, Casey. Did you say that you would have to do the Powerwall install?
I have to pay for the install. Yes.
You have to pay for the install.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so if
I was just going to say, because
Tesla requires him to do it himself. He
do you
can't
know how
hire
much?
anybody.
Yeah.
He's not allowed.
oh, I'd love to do that.
You know how much each one of those things weighs, right?
Yeah, they're incredibly heavy.
275 pounds.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Those
Or
are monsters.
they are, and yeah, so it's not going to be too outrageous, but I am glad that the batteries are covered.
Russell, on a note, did
Yes,
you
sir.
ever have the ability to see inside of a power wall? Like when it was inside the casing, did you ever get to see the batteries actually lined up in the power
I
wall?
have not.
Okay.
I have not. I've seen the inside of an empty power wall,
Right.
which
Right.
you would
Power pack.
say doesn't no power wall.
No, I mean I've seen the inside of a power pack.
Oh, power pack. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Like I'm imagining they just stack them like they do in the car.
Yeah.
And
in
would
packs.
they run the same type of cooling through them?
Yes, exactly the same.
Okay.
Exactly the same. And
Except of course the power wall is situated so that the cells would be on their side.
correct. Correct. They're
Whereas
not
the car,
sitting.
they're laying flat with the positive on top and the negative on the bottom. In the case of a power wall, they're all sideways.
They're all sideways, right? Because
Yeah.
power wall's only that deep.
Right. Right.
So
Interesting.
it's yeah. I got to tell you, I have fun with this, but it makes me sad that
Yeah.
Tesla's bailing on solar on residential energy, and I don't see any other way to categorize this. I mean, 38% off is a going out of business sale, and hey, you're going to do all this work and all of this vetting of your property, and maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. I mean, it's just
that's all they can do at this point, I guess, is what they're saying. That is a new model they're going to try, and they will see whether or not they can bring people into the fold for that. It's going to be interesting to see if that model will work at all for anybody, or if it's not going to work.
yeah, self-service solar. I mean, yeah, no, you're not going to no, I'm not going to be a party to somebody hacking up my house.
Nope.
Yeah. Well, we'll keep following it, see what happens.
Yeah, but if they're licensed roofers and electricians, I'm cool with it. But yeah, I'm not gonna get Joe down the street to help me do it myself.
Right? Hey, we'll put it up, get some beers, woohoo!
Roll off the roof.
The firemen come by later and not only can they not get in, the house is lit up because the wiring wasn't done correctly. Yeah, no, thank you.
Not a good scene. Absolutely not. Next, we talked about this a little bit last week, but this week we have an update about the Starlink system.
Yeah.
So Tesla actually was approved to start launching the Star Tech satellites, and we were talking about how many flights would you need to put 1,500 into orbit in a quick fashion.
Mm-hmm.
Well, apparently, you can pack 60 of these babies into a nose cone. And here's the photo that was shared here recently in a Tesla Radi article. And you can see these are, this nose cone is kind of misleading, the size of it that's shown. Because in the nose cone previously, the Tesla Roadster was inside the same type of a nose cone, sitting at the base. Obviously, it wasn't as tall as what these are, but these are, they're not small, but they've packed 60 of them into a nose cone. And what I don't quite understand is, so they get in orbit, the nose cone breaks off, the 60 get released. How do they get to their individual orbits?
Because
they are in different orbits. They're not
they
all bunched together.
They have ion thrusters.
So there is some sort of gas thruster on each satellite.
Mm-hmm. They run.
Wait. Did you say gas?
Yes, gas.
Yep.
Is that electric?
Yes, electric gas. They run
electric gas.
Not xeon. They're running
hydrazine.
Not hydrazine. It is
oh.
It's a cool name.
Hydrazine's pretty cool. I mean, it's a horrible chemical, but it's cool.
What do they call this stuff? It is But anyway, so the nose cone is the size of a city bus.
The size is kind of misleading in the photo. But these get pushed off all at once, or are they released a little bit at a time?
A little bit at a time, like a Pez dispenser. And it's unique that there's not actually a separate dispenser like on their other on their other launches. This is literally just the satellites basically tethered to each other and to the payload adapter.
Right.
I thought there was a cord that acted as a dispenser.
He said there wasn't one this time.
Oh, okay. I missed that. My apologies.
It's okay.
Yeah. So, anyways, that actually payload is ready to go now, and they're waiting for a launch window, which could happen in. I think they were saying mid-May previously.
Tonight.
There you go. Okay, so here we are mid-May. So this is going up tonight. If the launch window does not have a delay.
Tonight at 10:30 Eastern.
So 60 at a time. How about some quick math? 1550 divided by 60. That's 25.8 launches. It's a lot of rockets. 25 launches.
I think Elon said they would need, 6 or 12 to get minimal service, and then double that to get moderate service. It was pretty interesting.
So it'll be scalable then. They can start with not the full 1500. Well, obviously they'll be doing testing on the units as they start to go up, but optimally 1500 is where they want to be.
I thought it was 12,000.
Originally it was.
Okay, thank you.
But apparently this is the first go around.
It runs on kryptonium.
I'm sorry?
Kryptonium is what those ion engines are on.
Plutonium.
Kryptonium.
Kryptonium.
Isn't that killed Superman, right?
Exactly. They're ready for a Superman attack. Elon's an alien, man.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
No, and I thought, again, forgive me, I may be filled with misinformation here. So these are like production prototypes. These aren't actually the final, like this is a test run.
They're version 0.9. So they'll do the full job, but they won't do 100% destruction on deorbit. There will be a chance that the reaction wheel core and some of the lenses and one other part might survive reentry. So hopefully they aim them for the ocean.
Yeah, because flaming kryptonium bombs from space.
Exactly.
That wouldn't disturb anyone.
Yeah,
Come on, everyone loved when Skylab came back down and no one knew where it was going to go. Everyone loved that. It was like the lottery.
Exactly. So the next batch or the batch after that will have the version 1 where it does do the full. I forget the term for it, but when it deorbits, where it burns up. Yeah. Which
is interesting that obviously this is something that's in motion, that they couldn't get the completely degradable one go up first.
Yeah. Well, it's not ready yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Can you put the picture back up?
Yep. You can do that.
Yep. So on the right was the stack of the 60 satellites, and on the left is probably Tintin A or Tintin B, which was the prototype. Notice the shape and size difference in these guys.
Sure. Are you seeing the picture?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't think that round part is part of it, but that whole thing from the black pieces to the right is one of the prototype satellites, Tintin A or Tintin B, and they came off of the main mission, and apparently the test was successful.
Okay.
Yeah. So your receiver is going to be, he said, about the size of a pizza box. So it won't, for some reason, they don't want to try it on your car, but you'll put this on somewhere on your house, probably like a satellite dish, and you're looking at gigabit up and down with around 10 millisecond response time or so, which is incredible. That's like fiber, but without having to run fiber everywhere.
But don't let your budgie fly in front of the pizza box.
Right, a little bit slower on the reaction time, just because you're going to freaking space. But way better than Hughes and the other guys, because instead of going to geostationary orbit, you're going to 500 kilometers. So it's a lot closer.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm excited.
So tonight, hopefully, we'll see a launch of the first 60.
SpaceX.com/webcast or YouTube.com/whatever SpaceX's channel is.
That's right. Easy to find.
Yep.
Easy to find. Next, Mr. Musk to receive the Stephen Hawking Medal. So, why, you may ask? This is the Stephen Hawking Medal for Science Communication. And he's one of the recipients. There are others as well. But he will be receiving it in Zurich, Switzerland. And that ceremony is going to happen in June of this year. So, again, I'm not sure about the actual requirements to receive such an award. But Mr. Musk obviously has been innovating in SpaceX and Tesla for quite some time, and they feel that he is a worthy recipient of this award. To be honest, I haven't heard of the Stephen Hawking Award before recently. Had either of you two heard about this particular award?
Probably in passing, but no, I never really paid it any mind.
Yeah.
I was told that there's something unique about whoever's presenting it to him. Does it say here in the article?
Tell us.
I think it just they started doing this in 2015. This is a fairly recent thing.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was either funny or ironic or super cool about who was giving him the award. I saw it in passing, so I'm not sure. Brian May, astrophysicist, sorry. Let me look him up real quick and see.
I don't know Brian May.
Brian May, Dr. Brian May, the astrophysicist?
Yes. Yep.
You heard of this little band called Queen?
Yes, Queen, that's right.
Yeah, he's the guitar player.
Oh, okay.
He also has, I think it's a double doctorate in astrophysics.
Yes.
He's like insanely, on top of being one of the greatest guitar players on the planet, he's smart.
Yeah. So it says here, he is best known as the, what? Sorry, my, it's opening tabs on me. He's best known as the lead guitarist of the rock band Queen, using home-built electric guitars. Where does it talk about his PhDs? But yeah, like Russell said, smart dude.
Smart dude. And
smart dude that rocks out as well. Absolutely. Next, what do we got here?
Oh, Maxwell.
Yeah, that's that is something that we've been talking about for quite some time. The Maxwell, capacitor and battery company that Tesla had made a bid on. That bid did not go through. So there's been a final offer to acquire the company that was submitted this week, and they're hoping to close that out. Obviously, this goes back to the shareholders for a vote. But again, Tesla is after another battery, super capacitor company. They're ultra capacitor. They're trying to get some technology under the belt that would help them in a number of different areas, and they feel that the ultra capacitors are something that they could explore or have a use for. And we've guessed on the show previously, it might have something to do with collecting energy off of regen, like maybe something large, like, I don't know, the Tesla Semi, that's going to produce a ton of energy when the regen hits, and possibly a ultracapacitor would be a better way of collecting it and storing it for a short period until it could be leaked into the batteries without hurting the batteries. So one of the possibilities, but there are several. Of course, Tesla has not made public anything about what they want them for, but they have been after this company now for about, I think it's been 6 months.
Oh yeah, it seems like it.
It's something that hasn't happened yet, but they indicate that a final offer to acquire the company has been sent, and they're waiting for a response. So.
And Elon's been into ultracapacitors since before the Roadster was even a glimmer. Elon and JB Strobel, they wanted to make electric jets that used ultracapacitors. Another theory about why they want this company is they have a new technology for the electrodes, and I think they said it was a dry electrode. So it'll be interesting to see what all they use immediately and what becomes of it once they integrate these two teams, assuming that the purchase goes through.
Right. So interesting. We'll see if that news hopefully will come out this coming week, and we'll see what's going on when it happens. But certainly, you can figure out when it happens live. You can follow us at our Twitter feed at the Tesla Life. You can also follow us on our Facebook feed, the Tesla Life #1, and you can find out as we post daily about what's going on around the world of Tesla. Also, if you're watching this show already, why don't you give us a thumbs up, give us a like, and if you're not subscribed, press that subscribe button and ring the bell. Because, Casey, what does the bell help people do?
What the bell does is it lets you know whenever we have a new show. So if we go live or if we have a offline video that we post, and this way, because what YouTube will do is it's got algorithms, and eventually it'll stop telling you about us. But if you have the bell, it's like, all right, tell them about all of our shows, which is cool. Because sometimes we'll post the URL in advance, and then the computer will decide that, haha, we got you, and then we'll have to change the URL. And so if you're looking at the wrong spot, you'll get a little pop-up that says, hey, we're over here now, which is cool. And not like a pop-up window, it's just a little modal that comes down and then it goes away. That way it doesn't bug you.
Yeah, and sometimes we screw up ourselves, and we have a show starting on one feed, and we have to cancel it, start another one. So if you
the computer, you don't have to take credit for it.
you will be notified immediately. So please press that bell and give us a subscription and a thumbs up. The thumbs up also helps us with recognizability on the YouTube channels. So give us a thumbs up, and that helps us get out to other folks that maybe don't know about us as much as you do currently. So please do. Does anyone have a last thing tonight? Does anyone? No? Casey? How about this then? I've got something I can share. We've got the old Canada geese making their way across the road here in Ontario, because, of course, in the U.S., the Canadian geese come down, of course, to avoid the winter that's happening up here in Canada. So in the summer, they all come back and join us for the entire season, wander around our parking lots in this particular case. So we've got the mother goose and its little goslings that are following it across the road.
Little tiny Ryan goslings.
And it's interesting in Ontario, everyone breaks for them, lets them cross the road back and forth. It happens everywhere. They're all over the place. They litter the ground in Canada. They're absolutely everywhere.
They make big poops.
Do they ever?
If
you thought the love bug stuff was dirty, man, you should see the roads after these things walk across them, or if they infest your lawn or your park. It can be a messy situation.
Yes, I thought I was going to get cut off by a bunch of them this morning. It was the right before they start to molt, so they still look like chicks, but they're huge. Yeah. And I saw two of them walking. I'm like, where's the mom? Why are they out by themselves? And I saw the mom with the other three. And I was like, no, they're going to cross the street. And thankfully, they let me pass first, because
they let you pass.
I was already late for work. Yes.
So you gotta watch those geese. And one final one, which is spotted recently on the roads, was this Model 3.
Oh yes.
I love that.
Now there are some interesting badges on this car. we've got the
That's the new Honda hybrid, right?
new Honda hybrid. Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
So this was someone that wanted a Honda, but Honda just did not have a long enough EV mileage car for them at the time.
Or maybe they're avoiding the keys and scratches. So for those on the audio, it's a black Model 3 on the highway, and it's got a Honda Civic badge, Honda logo, and an SI badge.
That's right.
And if this is the same car, it also has VTEC on the
It
side.
also has VTEC on the side, right over here.
If they just installed a fake gas pipe, exhaust pipe, that would have been the perfect thing, you know?
So that was interesting news that was spotted again through our Twitter feed. So we thank all the contributors out there that send us photos and updates throughout the week.
All right, I've got breaking news.
Breaking news. Go ahead.
From SpaceX. All systems and weather are go ahead of tonight's launch of Starlink. Webcast will go live at about 15 minutes before liftoff. So if everything goes well, at about 10:15, you'll see it go from their Starfish test shot to the and like a space scene to their intro and then the webcast. So this will be exciting. It's because they're using a used fairing, a used rocket, and this will be interesting to see how this one goes off. And it's also going to be the heaviest payload they've ever launched on a single stick Falcon 9, and it'll be interesting to see how they do that. It's also going to have a really hard, fast landing.
Of course, it's for launch out of Florida, right?
Yeah, it's going to launch out of Florida.
Yeah.
So we'll have a drone ship landing in the middle of the night.
Yeah, so it's gonna shake the drone ship, and then the feed will drop, and then it'll be like a magic trick. There'll hopefully be a rocket standing there on.
Hopefully there'll be candlesticks standing up on the drone ship.
Yes.
Very good. Very good. Okay, well, let's wrap it up and head home, guys. Casey, maybe you've got a channel or two to tell the audience.
I do. YouTube.com/Casey Green. That's KACEY. I was out sick last week, I told you about, and so coming up this week, I should have videos flowing again. I apologize for the gap.
Well, yeah, everyone gets sick, Casey. There's no need to apologize.
Yeah, but I should have had something in the queue. That way it didn't have a drop.
Fair enough. Mr. Frost, any parting words?
I'm sorry, I'm watching a windmill fire. I'm totally fascinated.
Those are just all encompassing. I know what you mean.
It's so crazy.
Is that one of the ones where the brakes lit up, or is that?
Yeah. Here, in fact, I'll share this. I probably shouldn't, but I'll share this because I know I want all of you, my friends, to see the majesty. Look at that bad boy burn.
Wow.
Oh,
yeah. It's like they put a smoke bomb at the end of one of the blades.
Yeah.
Like how did that even? That's like art.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, enough of that. That's horrible. As always, you guys should check us out on Facebook. We're at facebook.com/the Tesla Life #1. And Mark will give you the rest of the stuff because I'm not that good at it. But thanks to everybody in the chat room. The chat room really likes the Gretzky title for the show.
I like the Gretzky title.
Yeah, they were like, you already have a title. Why are you asking us for a title? And I'm like, I don't know.
That's it. We're going with the Gretzky title.
The Gretzky edition.
There you go.
That came from David. So yeah, cheers, David. Otherwise, cheers to everybody in the chat room, and I'll turn it over to you. Great one.
Very good. Very good. Well, thanks everyone for spending an hour with us, an hour plus. Please give us a thumbs up. If you haven't already, subscribe, ring the bell, and we'll see you through the week as time goes along. And we'd also like to thank Lee Moon for the music that we use every week. Thank you, Lee. Fantastic. Let's roll that music and get out of here.
Oh, no. Wait, I have to. Okay, roll the music. See ya.
Good night, everybody.